What was to be an ordinary parliamentary sitting turned into one of the most dramatic political confrontations of the year within a matter of minutes. South Africa's political drama, already renowned for its volatility and melodrama, had done it again. This time with Democratic Alliance Federal Chairperson Helen Zille providing the spark. Zille, a veteran political tactician renowned for measured accuracy, approached the podium with a thick document held tightly in her hand. She hesitated for a moment, surveying the chamber before making the assertion that would shake the nation. She stated that she had in her hand a leaked email straight from President Cyril Ramaphosa's personal inbox. The chamber was silent. There were gasps. This was not a routine accusation. Zille claimed the email was full of proof of backroom politics that could rock the foundations of the ANC and bring the presidency to its knees. The pressure was instant, charged, inescapable. Parliamentarians leaned forward in their chairs, desperate to catch every phrase. The ANC front bench squirmed uneasily, whispering amongst themselves. President Ramaphosa sat solidly in his chair, his face impassive. At least initially. But towards the end of Zille's address, that serenity broke. Cameras recorded what most will refer to as the day's defining moment. Ramaphosa, expressionless, dipping his head and wiping away tears in his eyes. Within minutes, the image was lighting up news channels, social media platforms, and WhatsApp groups around the country. The pirated email, Zille claimed, described a clandestine meeting between President Ramaphosa and a group of unidentified international stakeholders. They were referred to as only private development partners. But their job, if the claims were accurate, was far more than mere advisors. According to Zille's version, these partners were offered access to South Africa's strategic economic assets and political clout in return for campaign finance and, most importantly, silent acquiescence. The room became chillier with each sentence so read aloud. She recited slowly with intent as if relishing the effect. The email, she alleged, outlined secret deals related to rich state deals in the energy and infrastructure sectors. It portrayed a presidency negotiating secretly concessions to foreign investors behind the back of the very population it purported to represent. And then came the blow that hurt most. And according to the transcript Zille issued, the email stated, "They will stand behind the renewal project so long as our assurances remain intact. We must ensure no deviation from the agreed path." If true, that statement implied nothing short of a quid pro quo, ongoing political support in return for special treatment. For Ramaphosa, who has made his whole career as the clean reformer, the guy who would close down state capture and restore trust in government. A revelation like that would be catastrophic. Zille was aware of it and she used the moment like a seasoned tactician. Her tone was biting, unrelenting. South Africans are entitled to honesty, transparency, and leadership not sold to the highest bidder. President Ramaphosa, you have betrayed that trust. The chamber exploded. Opposition benches rattled their desks in assent, yelling calls for instant answers. Chants of resign. Resign resounded, ringing out across the chamber like a battle cry. The speaker wrestled to regain control, her words lost amidst the bedlam. Parliament for a few wild minutes was a war ground of words and rage. And amid it all, Ramaphosa was silent. When Zille finally dropped her documents, all eyes were on the president. For a moment, he appeared to be getting up, maybe to justify himself or retaliate. Instead, he put his head down, grasped a tissue, and rubbed his eyes. The cameras panned in, catching a leader who seemed vulnerable, shaken, and trapped. Explanations of that single gesture divided the country. Fans were quick to characterize it as a moment of compassion, a man shaken by betrayal or the weight of responsibility. Critics, on the other hand, saw something different. The mass dropping, the careful image of honor crumbling beneath the weight of reality. One thing is true, this was a turning point. The ANC did not waste any time on damage control. In a matter of hours, spokesman released several statements ascribing the email to forgery. They were accusing the DA of staging cheap politicking before the election cycle by labeling Zille's expose as a carefully planned smear campaign aimed at destabilizing the ruling party. They demanded an entire investigation, not of the president's so-called dealings, but into Helen had come to possess what they claimed was a doctored document. But denials were not enough to douse the flames. Questions remained, looming over the presidency like a thunderhead. Is the email real? If it is, who leaked it? And why now? Will President Ramaphosa himself personally respond to the charges, or will he continue to have his party spokesman do so? Will this turn into a parliamentary investigation and worse into impeachment proceedings? The suspense has the country holding its breath. For the opposition, though, this was gold. The DA could smell weakness. Insiders from within the party seemed to suggest that this was just the tip of the iceberg, that more documents, more emails, and more incriminating evidence would emerge in the coming weeks. The timing could not be better. With elections looming, the ANC's reputation was already battered. This scandal could leave wounds too deep to mend. At the same time, regular South Africans, exhausted, fed up, and disillusioned by decades of corruption hearings, watched in a combination of shock and resignation. They are bored and fatigued by the never-ending loop, scandal, denial, vows of reform, and yet again, scandal. To them, the yearning for genuine change is intensifying day by day. If the email is real, the consequences are apocalyptic for Ramaphosa, but for the ANC's political hegemony. If it is disproven, the DA faces a perilous backfire. Even then, though, the damage might be done. The scene itself, Zille's performance, Ramaphosa's tears, has changed public opinion. Once an image like that takes hold in the national psyche, it can be very hard to dislodge. South Africa is at a crossroads today. The opposition can smell blood. The ruling party struggles to hold the fire at bay. Citizens wait, seething but still hoping that perhaps this will be the catalyst for true change. Whether the scandal is the start of a political realignment or merely another chapter in the ANC's extended playbook of scandals is yet to be determined. But Helen's bold action has already thrown 2025 politics into disarray. And politics by definition is chaos.